Happy Pride Month, everybody. So, Doom the Dark Age just came out, and I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed. Now, don't worry, I don't think that this game is garbage or anything like that, but it does have problems. I'm sure that plenty of people have talked about this game, and I don't want to repeat anything that they've said, and I won't be one of the guys who hates this game for no reason, because out of all the games, I do really enjoy this game for what it brings to the table. But all of them bring some different aspects to them, and I'm not gonna lie, they're still fast-paced boomer shooters, but after playing them one after the other, they're all different in their own way. And I need to commend them for doing this. I don't like it when a sequel is just the game, but with a 2 on it. These games do something different each time. Even though they don't look different, they are still different, and I really appreciate that. Well, as different as you could get with boomer shooters like this. But even though I like that it's different, I do still think it has issues. For example, the music. Both Doom games were made with some of the best matching music I can think of. Personally, I think that 2016 had the better music. I don't know, seems a little bit more dynamic. I can't really explain it, but both games wouldn't be the same without their music. Mick Gordon's soundtracks for Doom 2016 and Eternal are great, and I'm so upset that id Software treated him the way that they did. Refusing to pay and having unrealistic deadlines for him made this a very stressful endeavor, and although I do enjoy a lot of the music that's present in both of these games, it does kind of pain me to hear yet another terrible story about how awful the games industry can be to creatives. But I don't bring this up for no reason. I bring this up because the Dark Ages has some new composers for its music, and it's just not the same. Not that it's bad, probably, I don't know. I wasn't complaining about the music when I first heard it. It just sounds a bit more generic than the others. And I'm not trying to shit talk the new composers. Like, it's hard enough following up Mick Gordon's music, especially after the success of both games, but it's just so unremarkable. The only music that I remember would be the one that plays when you first enter Hell, but that's it. Title Drop is still pretty good, I guess. It's not as good as the other games, but it does the job of make Doom Man look angry at demons. Doom the Dark Ages is a weird one out of the trio since it plays so differently from the other two. See, going from 2016 to Eternal was easy since you could very easily see why the team went the direction it did, with more emphasis on fast-paced movement and weapon switching. This one makes Doom Guy feel more like a tank. He's a bit slower and kind of more stationary, less mobile. I know the trailer said to like stand your ground, but like, I don't know, man, it's a fucking Doom game. Let's start off with the premise, though, and this game's focus on the story. I don't care for it. Doomy Poo is being controlled by the Khan, you know them, they're the weird golden people whose heads explode into bullets and goop juice. Doom Hubby doesn't like being told what to do by them. So... God, I need him to peg me. Is what I would say if I was gay. Which I'm not. The Khan are using him as a weapon against demons. But to show this off, the Demon Prince is shown the least badass footage ever seen. And I wonder why this guy isn't fucking intimidated. You showed the wrong footage, you idiot. Why didn't you show the footage of him landing, which causes a shockwave that liquefies anyone nearby? That's what I would have shown, personally. The game also does something that I can never forgive this game for. Sprinting.
That's disgusting.
Now, in my opinion, sprinting is kind of dumb. Remember how in Halo 4, they added sprinting and clambering, even though they didn't need to do that because the previous games had good movement anyway? Yeah, that's how pissed I was when I saw this. There's also this weird effect when you sprint, and it's just Gross. Ew. Stop it. Thankfully, you could turn on auto sprint and remove the screen effect, but now whenever you move, you sound like a fucking refrigerator that takes really wide steps. It's good. I like this, actually. I kind of feel like a space marine. No, not that one. Or that one. That one, yeah. I think we have too many of these. Any other problems are just the game being different, which I actually don't mind. I'm fine with sequels being different or working differently than the previous title. In fact, I think it should be encouraged. Of course, there isn't anything wrong with having games being basically the same, but there's more stuff and support for the second one. But like, come on, guys. There's no reason to play Left 4 Dead 1. Like really think about it. Why would you do that over Left 4 Dead 2? There are no excuses. But a game like Darkest Dungeons, yeah, I could see plenty of people playing that over the sequel, or vice versa, since they play differently enough to warrant it. I feel the same with all of these games. They all have the same string to their bow, which is just but that's a really good string. And the fact that all these games have a different take on really makes me feel like there's a Doom game for everyone here. I think that the main issue that a lot of people are looking at this is it's just so different from the other two in that aspect. Like, they changed it just a bit too much. It's still, you know, fun, but it's just such a weird direction. Where the past two games were all about moving constantly, this one is about standing your ground? I don't know, man. But the main thing that makes this different from the others is the inclusion of this, the shield. Dark Ages has what I would like to call shield combat, because most of the combat focuses on the shield, embedding it into enemies, throwing it at fodder, blocking, parrying, shield bashing. Mastering Dark Ages combat requires you to use the shield constantly. Now you might have noticed that I said shield combat, not gun shield combat. That's because it doesn't fucking matter what gun you use, because you will use it with the shield almost always. Now when I say master the combat, do not confuse it with how you would master Eternal's combat. In fact, if you're coming right off of Eternal, then you might get clotheslined by how easy it is, because it's really easy. Parrying, even on its highest difficulty setting, is not at all challenging. There is no requirement to use different weapons, since most of them will achieve the same end, killing demons. Now, while this means that you could just not use most of the weapons, almost all of the weapons in this game look amazing and are fun to use, even though they all do basically the same thing, killing demons. They all do it, though, in their own style. The shotguns do a lot of damage while setting demons on fire. The plasma weapons do extra heat damage to armor, making them quicker to destroy. The nail weapons are fucking crazy. Like, okay, this spike gun specifically was my favorite go-to weapon. Every time you retrieve your shield from embedding it in an enemy, gives you ammo back, but it also empowers your next shot, so as long as you hit them in the head, it will just fucking destroy whatever you're shooting at. The Shredder can turn any larger demon into an explosive, or means to ricochet nails to nearby demons with 100% accuracy. But this goes for the other weapons as well. Shotguns can take out armor just as well, if not easier, than the plasma weapons do. The spike gun can heat up armor and shields pretty quickly as well. Of course, it won't be as fast as the plasma guns, but it's kind of whatever And dude, there is literally a weapon that's main purpose is just to take out armor, but a lot of other weapons can do this as well. The weapons in this game are all applicable for almost all situations. Now, this doesn't mean that if you like a weapon, there's no fucking reason to use anything else. Okay, there are reasons, but not good enough to warrant weapon switching in the slightest. You can just use one weapon for the entirety of the game, and I'm sure you'll be fine. This allows the player to do whatever they want with the weapons, but it doesn't really matter, since it's just easier to focus on the enemies with whatever you have in your hand. You have to go out of your way to use weapons for their intended purpose, if they even have that. This is also the easiest out of all the games, even on the hardest difficulty. The game isn't really challenging, at least not in the same way that Eternal was. But speaking of the difficulty, I do want to point out, although the game is easy, I really like the options when it comes to difficulty in this game. I always like it when you can just tweak the options in games as much as you want. I really appreciate it when they give me control over certain aspects of the game. Even the parrying has its own slider, even though I barely noticed a difference when I turned it all the way up. Hell, maybe the game will be super challenging if I just turn up all the sliders. I don't know, man. It's just nice to have. But they've also removed a lot of stuff from the previous game. Whereas 2016 to Eternal added like more to the options you had at your disposal. Like you have double jumping, but now you also have dashing. In this one, they take away a lot of that. There's no dashing, no chainsaw, and for me the most egregious option of all, no glory kills. Now, I don't know what people thought of the glory kills in 2016 or Eternal, but I felt that it really fit the reboot, and I love them in Eternal. The animation work in a lot of these are so fucking good. Now, before someone says, oh, they still have glory kills. No, they don't. They might call them that, but it doesn't feel the same. Even when you do get an actual animation, the quality of it is just so bland. And it's not like before, where you actually knew it was gonna happen, because this time, it seems kind of random. So you might do like a quick kick, and other times you'll see a mediocre animation. I don't know, man. I don't like it. Either have them or don't. Not to say that this game looks bad, by the way. I think that this is actually the game's strongest aspect, the style. The weapons in particular look amazing. I fucking love them. Each weapon codex has this like Da Vinci drawing and some really cool text describing the weapon. Like the super shotgun shells are apparently made with gunpowder harvested from ancient demons. Oh, and it's lever action, just in case you weren't sold on this cool thing. And this Lovecraftian chainball launcher is just so cool, even though I barely used the fucking thing. And they brought back damage indication that Eternal had, which I fucking love. They've added these like turret sections to the game, and well, they suck. But they're also a little cool, since wherever you shoot just eviscerates the flesh of these big demons, and it's just, I like that. I don't know why. I like seeing the bone. Oh, and I didn't know where to stick this part, but I like the look this Titan gives you when you shove a nuke down his throat. Like, he looks so sad. Oh my god, it's so funny. The game also has some nice color in it, but not as good as Eternal's color. The game has a heavy case of blue, whereas 2016 was red. It just looks less colorful compared to Eternal, and I've played these games one after the other, so don't at me about this, okay? I'm right. But overall, if you like shooting things, you'll like this. I hate to say that though, since I feel like Doom is becoming more like COD. Like, there are turret segments, gimmick levels, and it's not like it doesn't have that Doom flavor. The dragon looks cool. Guys, I think something's wrong with my dog. Even if it plays like shit, the mech stuff is cool, but it plays like shit. I wouldn't come at them this hard for the gimmick levels, but they pop up more than once, and honestly, I just wish it was more like its brothers. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this game is more similar to COD than its previous games. I'm just saying that they shouldn't add these things that make it so much better than COD-like shooters. Like, after the bad turret sections, the terrible dragon sequences, and the mediocre mech sequences, I honestly was worried they were about to have a fucking forced stealth section. Okay, that was a bit exaggerated, but you get the idea. But above all else, there's one more thing I want to talk about. Why isn't this Quake? You don't understand how pissed I am when I look at this shit and this and this and this, and I have to rip myself back into reality that Quake followed up its cool as fuck gothic horror shooter with fucking robots and multiplayer FPS. Like, yeah, I know that Quake is responsible for a lot of multiplayer games nowadays, but I don't care. Where's my gothic shooter, id? Where is it? Give it to me, you fucking hacks.